If you take a look below at the title of this video, you're going to see exactly how many people are playing Banana on Steam right now. For the record, currently it is 722,000 people clicking this image over and over to get their counters up. This video is inspired by Tom Scott's "This video has 72 million views" video. Basically, we're going to walk through how to connect different APIs together so that we can change our YouTube video title to constantly reflect the current number of users for Banana on Steam. To get started, I did look at this article by Ryan about how he replicated Tom Scott's video. We're going to do things a little bit differently because we are not just counting the number of views that particular or our particular video has. Instead, we're going to need to pull information about a Steam game. So we're going to be using the Steam Web API to pull data off the internet. And then we're going to, on the other side, push data through the YouTube Data API. And so every few minutes, we're going to run through this cycle. We're going to pull information from the Steam API, and then we're going to take that and push it onto our video through the YouTube API. We are going to accomplish this by doing a long-running Azure Functions function. And we're going to do this with Python instead of Node.js. This means that we're going to put everything on Microsoft Azure, of course, and we're going to run it so that it runs every few minutes to keep our video up to date over and over while grabbing fresh data and pushing that fresh data back out. So it's a nice, simple cycle. Now this is unscripted coding, so I haven't written any of the code. I'm going about this with a little bit of research and a good idea of how I'd accomplish this, but I'm going to stop talking and we're just going to work through it, and I'm going to pause the video and insert my commentary here and there as I hit milestones until we reach our final finished product. At this point, I haven't tested anything, but I have put together a few of the critical pieces to at least make sense of what this is. So first of all, we had to get a Steam API key, and you will find that we can see it right here. Where we went with the Steam Web API documentation, you just have to fill out a form, agree to the terms, and you get a nice, simple API key. That's it. Nice and simple. More painful was trying to get a key, or rather the OAuth tokens for YouTube Data API. Now, I'm not going to go through it because it is just step by step, and I've noticed that these interfaces change over time. So I highly recommend Ryan's page. You're going to have to find some of the buttons, but all of the labels are still in place. And you're going to go step by step and find and create the right scope and the right credentials to start using YouTube Data API version 3. All just a lot of steps, but they are all very simple. The only thing that was confusing is that at the very end of all of this, you get a JSON file. And let me just pull this up for you. And you'll see that I have this client secret JSON file here. That isn't the access token, refresh token, client ID, client secret. Those are things that when I was writing this code, or rather when Claude was helping me write this code, it asked for. So I shoved everything into secrets.py because obviously I don't want you to see my API key or these tokens and secrets. But what Claude did show me very quickly is to write a simple script a little bit further below, right here, in which, not this one, in which it spits out the YouTube token refresh token. So, this is a script right here, and basically what it does is it gives you a link. You click the link, you sign in with your YouTube account, and you use this the JSON file, and together it's going to spit out an access token, refresh token, client ID, and client secret. I don't think there's anything magical here, but I highly recommend just using Claude.ai to write this code. And just in case, I can kind of just scroll through here. You'll see that basically it's creating a web browser for you, hitting the right URL, and then it's just going to print it onto the command prompt console for you. And I followed that, threw them all into client secrets, and so I think we're ready to do our first test. But before that, I did want to walk through the code so that this makes sense to you. First of all, we set up an Azure Functions, and we used a cron schedule here. This means that this function, once we put it on Azure, will run every 5 minutes at the 0-second mark of every minute. So at 3:05, 3:10, 3:15, 3:20, and so on, it's going to run this update YouTube title with Steam players function. Now we can get rid of this logging info. I don't really care about that. But the first thing is we set up Steam. We have our API key. This will allow us to access Steam's API. That's like a password. We're going to use the app ID, and we can find this right here, over here. This is the app ID. Every game gets a unique number, basically. And we're going to find the right URL. And so this is the get number of concurrent players, and we're just going to do a request afterwards. The next bit is that we do have an API set up for YouTube as well. And so, of course, we just threw in all of the tokens and secrets that we pulled out. And then finally, we're going to run the code. So first of all, for Steam, they don't have a fancy library like Google does. And so all we're doing is we're going to use Python's built-in requests, meaning we send it through the web, no fancy SDKs or anything. We're just going to send it plain as a request to the right URL with the right key in the headers. And then we're going to wait for a response, and then we find the player count in the response. So in this case, again, Claude suggested nice logging information. Current player count for this app ID is, let's say 722,000. Next, we're going to get the YouTube client. Now, unlike Steam, YouTube and Google already has these clients and these helpers to make it very easy. And so we're going to tell them we want YouTube version 3, and here are our credentials. We have our current time, whatever. We generate a title. But most importantly, through the YouTube client that we've built, we're going to go find the videos and update this one. And here we have an ID for a random video, one of my private videos. We're going to change the title to this new title, and I don't know what category ID is, but basically we are updating this. And then finally, we execute that response, and then there's a whole bunch of logging in case things work or things don't work. Now our title is right here. Current players, number of players, updated at the current time. So in theory, we could get rid of the date time, and we could get rid of this update as well. We can fiddle with the title later, but what I'm going to do is publish this Azure functions. And for me, I would highly recommend just installing the Azure extension on VS Code, because then you can see all your resources. I'll put this under long-term support, and I can just create a brand new function app right here. And so I usually go with the advanced, because if I don't, you don't get to access the free tier, and they automatically put you to a paid tier. Now this one, especially if you've never used Azure before, is definitely in the free tier. You're running very, very little. You're just connecting two dots together, so it should easily fall into scope of the free tier. We'll call this Azure Func, so I know that's a function. YouTube banana video title update. Pretty long title, but this will help me out. Consumption is that free plan, so I'm choosing the consumption. I am usually in West US 2, just because that's where I am. Don't think it matters. And we are using Python 3.11. We'll create a new resource group, and again, RG YouTube banana video. Pretty clear what that is. We'll create a new storage account as well. Again, just helps that we could start with storage account, YouTube banana video, enter. I am going to create an application insights. This usually costs a little bit of money, but I will take it down afterwards. And the idea is that way I can see some of these logging errors if something goes horribly wrong. App Insights, YouTube banana video. And we're just going to wait this out. We have something functional now. If you were wondering why I used Azure Insights, we did have errors. It was not flawless code written by AI. And here we have error fetching Steam API data, 403 client error forbidden. Initially, I thought my API key was wrong, but what it turned out was way simpler. I'll just undo here. You'll see that what we had was we were using the partner website, the URL, which meant that I was going for a place meant for publishers, developers, people who have connections to a video game industry, not some random guy on YouTube. And so I had to switch the URL, and once I did that, it started working fantastic. So once again, let's just look at the logs. We can turn this off afterwards to save us a buck. But once we switched over, you're going to see, 734,000 users, 734,000. Now, Steam doesn't update in real time, so I think you're going to get batches of time, and it's going to stay steady for a little while. But if you take a look right here, 737,000. This is just a random video that I had from a while back. And if we refresh, we might get we're 737,000. But of course, at one point it said 734,000 and 722 and other numbers as appropriate. So we're wrapping up, and I do have cleanup work afterwards. I don't think I need to update every minute or 5 minutes if Steam is chunking this so that it updates every 10 or 15 minutes, so I can make it a little more efficient. I'm also, of course, going to change the YouTube ID that I am aiming at, not to this random video, but when I finally publish this video, I will be changing it along with the title. One last thing. I did look up the category ID. By default, 22 was something like people and blogs. 26 is how-to videos, so I swapped the category ID as well. I don't think I need to update this every time, but let's leave working code alone. So there you have it. This is how that title below is updating to always show the current player count for Banana on Steam. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving us a thumbs up and also subscribing to check out other cool projects that we work on every single week. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.